can't help but laugh every time I see the scene with you and Bobby's
Bobby jumping
face.
off the
It's
roof.
just like,
What is that?
oh
Is that
man.
from The Nice Guys? What's that from?
The other guys.
The
That's
Other
the
Guys. That's
scene
right.
where
Yeah.
Sam
Yeah.
Jackson and The Rock jump off of the roof.
And they're like,
Yeah.
there goes my hero.
My favorite thing about that, it's like there wasn't even an awning on that thing. Like, what are they even for? Oh man. I guess that was our first time trying to use the intro. I did not realize it was just going to put everybody directly onto screen. So everybody, blue collar losers here.
I'm pissed, you dick, because we agreed next time we're gonna do tequila shots back and forth because you're a lightweight and you fuck asked me 5 minutes. I didn't buy
Dude, what the fuck, man? Come on.
you didn't tell me you're coming on tonight, so I got fucking some vodka. So yeah. So next time next time we're gonna plan this and
Lightweight
open up
my ass.
a fresh bottle of tequila.
This is vodka, bro. It's
Uh-huh.
vodka and tequila.
Really?
This is like instant on your ass.
That's awesome shit. Well, I finished off with fuck. I bought a bottle of Jack. So this I'm going from Jack to vodka the same night. So it's a good night.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd call it trash, but there's definitely a debate to have here.
Jesus, trash.
I don't know if I'd call it trash, but there's definitely problems. I've never seen sperm whale in my chat, but welcome. I very interesting way to start off the day. Yeah, like I said, normally I would do an intro. I wasn't aware of how the the dynamic version worked for this, but yeah, so it seems like every time you're on though, Blue, it seems like you end up just in the intro, so like in the opening. Yeah, well, whatever.
No one cares. Hey,
everyone, so I will eventually add more people to the intro.
Yeah.
Some of them haven't even been on the show yet. It was just kind of like these are people I expect to eventually have on, so I'll just put them in the intro. I'm sorry that you unsubbed. I mean, we didn't even get to the topic yet. This is
he's joking.
I mean, whatever. If he doesn't want to watch me, it's unfortunate for him. But yeah, so I guess what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into Resident Evil 9. We're all kind of on a schedule today, so this is probably gonna be a relatively quick stream, like an hour and a half. But first I want to say hello to the chat, hello to my guest, hello to my co-host, and
guys?
Yeah, let's get this going, I guess. Everybody here has played Resident Evil 9 to various extents. I haven't quite beat it yet. I know, Chris, you're on basically the very end, and I know that Matt has officially beat it.
I have beat it, yes.
What, you did or you didn't?
I did, yes,
okay.
I did.
Okay. I'm pretty far. I'm like probably, you said, what did you say, about 85% of the way in?
It sounds like where you are, you're probably like 80% through.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the only reason I was working overnights, so it kind of screwed up my ability to play. I guess what we'll do is we'll go through the things we like, the things we hate. But I think first we should talk about what our expectations were for the game. Were like, were we in the camp of like, this is going to be the greatest thing that's come out in a long time, or were we expecting this downturn? That happens with pretty much every time Resident Evil gets its steam going. I guess we'll start with you, Matt.
I feel like Resident Evil usually shits the bed with the third one, with like whatever trilogy they're working on, and based on what I was seeing with this game, I was cautious but optimistic, but cautious. And I don't know, like everyone's got their opinions about the Ethan Winters story, where that went, and like I know Village is kind of it's
divisive.
Like, it's pretty divisive, yeah. So, but to me, I was kind of annoyed that they cut that story prematurely. Like it wraps up in Village, and that's it.
Well, it literally wraps up in a DLC.
Oh yeah, but even if you don't count the DLC, like the game says, like, oh, the father story's done, and like that's it. So I guess I was kind of hoping that maybe this one would tie into the stuff from 7 and 8 a bit, but they don't really. Like, you find a picture in the game and it shows the connections, so you see Mia and Evelyn in a picture, but that's it. Like that in terms of the connecting to 7 and 8, that's it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like this game, like I do like it, and I had fun playing it, but I do feel like I'm in the minority where everyone's just kind of like, oh my God, it's like the best Resident Evil ever. and I don't think it is. And I do think that when a little bit of time goes by and the excitement of a new game is out right now, like once that kind of dies down, people will kind of see it for what it really is. And again, I didn't hate it. I don't think it's terrible, but there are just a lot of things about it that I did like that kind of annoyed me. And I do think that the beginning in the hospital, the Rhodes Hospital, that's like the best stuff of the game. Like that
Yeah.
stuff is like old school Resident Evil. It's a lot like Resident Evil 7. It's a lot like Resident Evil 2 remake. There's just
It's almost honestly, you could feel the Resident Evil 7 in that
Yeah.
in that whole sequence. Even the structure of the hospital, how it all funnels you back into that main foyer
yeah.
constantly. You get that, and which is exactly like the I guess it was the living room or whatever, like the in 7. Um Definitely, yeah, I could see that, but I'm right with you on that. I cut you off a little bit. Do you have any other things
No,
you want?
that's probably it with my initial impressions.
Yeah. Chris,
Well,
what were you expecting
Well, off
to?
the bat, literally, Matt saying, and no bullshit. I've showed this to people on Twitter that RE7 came out. It was definitely a departure from the franchise, first person view, but also back to horror elements because 5 and 6, especially 6, is very action packed. Now,
Mhm.
the main complaint, and even Capcom admitted this, that the main complaint RE7 was it's too scary. No bullshit. Because when you play 8, 8 is very action packed because 7 was too scary. A horror franchise is too scary. That's why 8 is back to being more action packed. So 9, it was the return of Leon. Well, initially not first Leon is a spoiler, but he's back. But it did have the horror elements. Obviously, Grace is the first demo was this big hag monster creature that's scared of light. So it kind of went back to the horror elements because 8 was too action packed, but then 7's too horrible. So what do you do? And the RE franchise, Russ, it's been this weird thing. The first game is not a great storyline, but it's kind of a cheesy 80s fucking B-rated film. 2 is Leon and Claire pushing the PlayStation boundaries. 3 is just Jill fucking escaping Nemesis. 4 had up the action, and 4 brought the franchise back. But then 5 and 6 brought the franchise back down. But then
Yeah.
7 to
Don't
8,
forget Code Veronica and Zero also
we'll
are in
talk
there
about
as
those.
well.
But then, so yeah, but 5 and 6, the sales were going down. But then 7 broke records again. So
No, I think 5 and 6 like actually had the best sales. Like it was more that like the games were extremely successful when they came. If I'm remembering
yeah,
correctly, they were extremely successful when they came out, but just there wasn't really like a fan backlash necessarily, but enough fans were vocal about like, okay, where the fuck is this series going? And
okay, yeah.
so they realized that they had to like kind of go back to basics, and that's what they did with 7.
Okay, so RE5 actually says it's the top second game in the franchise with
Yeah.
10 million copies. RE6 sold actually 50 million copies, so it was going up, and now RE7 returned it to the horror elements. So it's the Resident Evil franchise. It's up and down, but also when you got a franchise that's pushing 30 years old, I mean, killing zombies can get stale after a while. Look at Walking Dead. After 10,
Yeah.
10 fucking
Yeah.
seasons of killing zombies, it gets kind of stale. So my expectations were obviously with the Grace demo, the horror elements. And obviously in Capcom, love or hate Capcom, Devil May Cry, Resident Evil, Capcom always excels at graphics and now mocap and stuff. The mocap and the graphics, the graphical detail in the demo were fucking fantastic. So I'm like, you know what? I am loving the detail for this. Obviously, this fucking whatever I call the hag monster. She's an allegory to Mr. X, Tyrant, to Nemesis. She
Yeah.
can't she can't pass the fucking the light. And playing it, I'm like, you know what? Grace should play different than Leon. Obviously, she's not meant to be Leon. So, and as you're saying, Russ, when I'm playing this game, it gave me flashbacks to RE2 because everyone knows RE2. Leon would drop stuff off in a locker. Claire would have access to certain weapons, and Claire vice versa. So Leon is going through different segments that Grace wouldn't do with different zombies. So my expectation was like we're back to old school Resident Evil because obviously 7, 8 are first person, and many people while I'm watching streaming this game are like Resident Evil should be a third person game, not first person. I feel like the majority of people streaming this game are streaming this game in third person view. But
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I missed some of what you said in there because for some reason my
Oh,
earbuds
sorry.
decided. No, it's fine. I'll just if I repeat something that was just said, I'm sorry. There was like a 20-second gap where I had to switch my headphones. But yeah, I kind of obviously, I mean, we're all Resident Evil fans. I've been a Resident Evil fan pretty much my whole life at this point.
Yes,
You know,
it went back in '96. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I have an unhealthy obsession with this game, and like
yeah.
I've said that I've said this. I don't think there's anybody in the world who knows the lore better than me. There are people who know it as good as me, but I don't think you're gonna find someone who knows it better than me. I mean, because I just played. I mean, there was times I played Resident Evil 2 like over and over and over again,
Yeah.
to the point where now I could do it in one sitting, no problem. All 4 scenarios, and
I will say,
literally
Russ,
everything.
RE7 by accounts like their sales, they made over $1 billion in RE7. Like RE6
Yeah.
did so well, but RE7, so
Yeah.
it was showing that RE7, the franchise was getting higher and higher. So,
Oh yeah,
you know, the main games, like Matt was saying, take away Code Veronica's outbreaks, but like RE5, 6, and 7, the sales are going up and fan reactions are going up, not down.
Okay, what was said about Code Veronica and Outbreak? I'm sorry, just because that must have been what I missed.
Those are like the weakest in the series. I agree with Matt on that one.
So, it depends. So with Resident Evil, I've always said there's ones that fall short on gameplay, and then there's ones that fall short on story. I always thought that Code Veronica was slowly. It's a very important transitional point. Because it was, you could see where it started to transition from fixed camera to more active camera. But it's definitely one of my least go back ones, which is
it's got like the backtracking in it is so, and I like backtracking in these games, but it's like really annoying in that one.
Same thing with Zero. So I was actually,
I fucking hate Zero,
and that's my least favorite one. And I was kind of worried that was going to happen with this one, and I was sort of right. You kind of hit it pretty well there for a second, Matt. You said that I don't think it's the trilogy. I think that, but there's always they failed to stick the landing. I don't think it's always on the third game, because I always like Nemesis was, I think, pretty solid. It was Code Veronica that was the one that was where they didn't stick it as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like out of the original 3, Nemesis is the weakest one.
Well, Nemesis wasn't even supposed to be
exactly
mainland. The only reason why that happened, so Code Veronica was supposed to be 3.
Yep.
And Nemesis was supposed to be a spinoff. But the yeah, and you know, everyone and their mother is playing this game. Yeah, I would never stream a brand new game, which might add, I built a brand new computer. This is the last stream that's going to be on this PC. I just haven't had a chance to gut the office and put in the new stuff yet. So it's literally, I'm using it on my like TV in the other room for now. But I would never stream a game the first time I play it, especially a Resident Evil game, because
no way.
Because I'm literally walking into corners trying to find random shit. Like that's not interesting.
That's how I play too. Like I'm hugging walls looking for like any ammo I could find.
It's not even for me. It's not necessarily even the ammo, because that's usually, I find that usually pretty easily. I'm looking for random bits and, you know, references.
Yeah, you're looking for the files.
So the files,
the lore and shit. Yeah,
exactly. I used to print years ago. I used to print out the files and like put them together in like little booklets and stuff. I was a nerd.
Well, sorry, Matt.
I was just gonna say, in terms of like the lore and all that, and I think that this is why people really like this one a lot, because it goes back to basics in terms of the story, Umbrella and the T virus, like all that shit kind of comes back. And yeah, like that's cool, and it's like totally old school Resident Evil, but I kind of liked especially with 7. I liked it was Resident Evil, but they did something different. They swung big with that one, and then the swing was even bigger with Village, but that was just like you take like the two polar opposite games, Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 7, and you mash them together, and that's just a weird combo. And that was sort of the problem with that game, and like the story just got a little too ridiculous with the molded and the metamycete and all that
shit. That one, I mean, we could do a whole stream on older Resident Evils at one point, but the with this one, I do think you're 100% correct that the fact that they're trying to take it back to the familiar. Unfortunately, they because of some of the finality of certain characters, you know, this would have been a great game to have, you know, Wesker in.
Oh my god! Have you seen the guy that comes in the
Yeah.
game? Like why isn't that guy Wesker? What the fuck? I
Because
thought it was him at
they
first.
made it they established in 6 they put a stamp on it that Wesker was gone.
I get it, but like
Um
they're basically bringing him back without bringing him back. Like
Yeah.
and this character is fucking lame. So
Yeah, he doesn't really, and I'm not a fan of like pretty much any of the villain characters. That's we're gonna go into our problems and positives soon, but none of that. My biggest issue up front, though, and it kind of plays it. This one is it has the sneaking elements, the survival elements, all that stuff up front, but
Mhm.
I don't really give a shit about Grace in the beginning of the game.
Hmm.
She's not established to me. I remember she was in Outbreak. I remember that she was, I know she's not a brand new character, but I don't really care about her. I don't care about her mother.
yeah.
Like, I don't care
Yeah.
about any of that. And it takes a little too long for me to start to care.
No, I agree with that, and I do think that as much as I think that the beginning is the strongest part of the game, just in terms of gameplay, yeah, character wise, you're now following we just got done following Ethan Winters for 2 games, got to know him, liked him for the most part, and now we're following someone else that we don't know, and look, in terms of performances, like the motion capture and voice acting and all that, it's pretty solid, but
No,
the
I think
girl.
that the voice actress for Grace is phenomenal.
She is, but
Yeah.
she does this thing where she's like, and she just like always does that, and it's like,
Well,
okay,
Well, you mean when you're
stop.
when you're sneaking and they're like,
No,
they
like if you
spam the shit out of her nervous noises.
if you have the subtitles on, like it even says like
Yeah.
www, it's fucking annoying. She does it too much, and
Yes, I mean, I get that aspect. I just took it as like she's scared shitless, and she's the polar opposite of Leon. Like, Leon's very stoic and badass. He's also grizzled. This is her
yeah,
first time experiencing these horrible, horrific monsters. She's
Well,
supposed to
not really though.
well,
She's
yeah,
experienced it already. She should be a little bit more,
yeah,
not to Leon. Leon's been to hell and back
oh
multiple
yeah,
times at this point.
well, and plus everyone in this world is familiar with bio weapons and like all of that shit. So
yeah,
yeah, this might be her first personal like time personally dealing with it,
yeah.
but she's acting like this is all like a shock basically. And again, in the very beginning, fine, but she's like at the very end of the game, and
So
it's like
there's a
okay,
point. There's she almost has her Ellen Ripley moment at a
Mm.
certain point where because you have the little girl Emily that I mean, I've been told that I'm about to hit the most annoying section of the game where I play as her.
a version of her.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
version of her.
Which
But
I
no,
like. In terms of, sorry, Russ. When you see it, it's got a very Children of the Corn vibes. I'm like, this is fucking freaky. I mean, it's it's not hard to control it,
but here's the thing about about that. Like they almost have her get to that, and then there's gonna be spoilers, everybody, for
Yeah, and I'm sick of like that's the other thing I'm annoyed with YouTube. Like no one's doing spoiler reviews of this game. Fuck that. Like we're gonna talk about everything, okay?
Yeah, so like from this point forward, we're gonna spoil.
which is why
You've
I
had the
bought it.
20 minutes of us kind of talking about it as a
Yeah,
general. So
well, that's why I bought day one. I didn't think it was kind of a dick move to some people though. The game comes out Thursday, 4 or 5 days prior to the game coming out. Hey guys, here's the ending. Here's the
Oh,
plot.
that's dick
Here's the-
move. 100.
well, that's a douchebag thing. But I
Yeah.
was able to avoid it for the most part. What we'll
Yeah.
do is we'll try to cut it. I always try to, even when I do my video reviews for movies, we won't do the ending. We won't give you the ending, but we're going at least to the halfway point of this game when we're talking about it.
Also, I mean, you and Matt know enough that franchises like Dragon Ball Z is 40 years old. Goku's died 17 fucking times. Like
Yeah,
Resident Evil, if a character dies or lives, even if they die,
it doesn't mean anything.
it's Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But so some of my complaints though, so like we were talking about, first of all, of the 3 of us, I'm the only one playing on classic difficulty, which might account for why it's taking me longer than these 2, because it's not as the nervous Grace noises are annoying. Yeah, she just kind of like I mean, maybe I haven't noticed them as much because I'm so busy looking in the background.
That's what I'm saying. I
yeah.
understand that aspect, but also like we hit this point now. But if Grace was not, if she was like Leon, then we would bitch she's a Mary Sue and she's perfect.
So
Well,
here's the
yeah,
thing
I
is,
know.
if you remember in Resident Evil 2 remake, I did have an issue with the way that they handled Claire at the very end, because she just like Leon kind of gets trapped with G, Birkin
Yeah.
G, and he fights it, and he's like, oh shit, I gotta do this, but she like specifically is like, no, I'm going in there, and it's like, if you're gonna do it for one, you gotta do it for both. You can't really do like With that being said, I do like that she's, she should be evolving as it goes along. It never feels like she does as a character. I mean, probably the sequence where Protophile is here, and I can hear him, but he's very staticky.
He's in the ocean.
Yeah. Hold on. You have to sort your stuff out, Protophile. I'm gonna block him for now. But the sequence where afterwards she should no longer be nervous is when she's after the water treatment plant underneath at that point. I mean, it doesn't get much more. That's basically alien. That's resident isolation.
Yeah, and I didn't mind the aspect where we've got Leon, who's the more experienced character, then we've got her, who's in like all of her stuff deals with fear. All that's fine. My problems just simply come down to some of the performances of the character, and I just felt her like she almost plays her like borderline autistic sometimes, and it just got on my nerves.
I think she's supposed to be. Actually.
I know, but like it's just too much for me. It's like.
Are you an ableist? You're an ableist.
It's just simply how she goes.
What if she had Tourette's syndrome?
Yeah, well, that's why I wondered with Matt, because like I wonder if her character is maybe she's an imperfect creation. That's why she's fucked up for.
Yeah, I really do just think it comes down to performance choices.
One thing I will also say is that I know, like, some of these things I already have figured out. Like some of the things from the end, like they are not hiding shit very well. It's the dialogue from Gideon, from his he pretty much tells you everything in the first 10 minutes of the movie, the game.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's really no
surprises.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
And one thing, so the one thing Protophile still having issues with his mic, apparently.
He's at the seashell.
Yeah, he's just got a conch. Protophile, can you hear me? I don't think he can hear me.
Jeez.
Okay, well, he will join us soon.
Yeah.
I wish that they would have went back to to the more classic scenario system. I wish that these were two scenarios, because they do cross over. They don't cross over all that much more than previous scenarios. I would say Resident Evil 2 has just as much crossover between them, and the fact that it takes so long to even get to Leon. Really, you have that opening sequence that's very reminiscent of Resident Evil 4's opening, and then you don't play as him for another, like, I'd say a good 30 to 40% of the game before you play as him again.
Right. Well, the difference between that opening and this opening is that the Resident Evil 4 opening is, fucking hard.
Yeah. This one you can just kind of run past.
Yeah.
Also, because you have Requiem, which is the most overpowered gun in the history of guns.
Yeah.
You don't even need to upgrade it.
I know some people say the rust because it's like, depending on the difficulty, some people analyze it's like basically 6 hours of Leon and 6 hours of Grace. Maybe it's not initially panned out that way, but overall during the course of the game, roughly a 10 to 12 hour game, but they do get half the airtime. It doesn't feel like that because sequences are kind of mixed out that way.
Yeah, I mean the whole beginning, it would have been if they're going to do it that way, it would have been nice if you played as Leon a little bit more in the beginning. But his stuff is really heavy in the Raccoon City. That's where his stuff shines.
I've noticed it, yeah, because that's where I'm at right now in the game.
Yeah, I almost feel like they could have done something where they were kind of the stories were kind of going in reverse order. Like he started in Raccoon City and worked his way back.
Yeah, they could have just been a little bit more creative with the cross storylines, but it's not. And I agree. Like I think that as I'm playing it, I'm like, it's just it kind of interrupts the flow when you switch off. And I personally would have just had it like preferred it if it was like Resident Evil 2 Classic, where you have the A and B scenarios.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I so here's the thing. I actually would have liked it like this. And that's what I was saying because I briefly spoke with Mahler about it because we were just, he wanted to know my opinion because he knows that I like the games. And I said I would have liked the scenario A and B, and then maybe after you beat both of them, you unlock kind of the connected version
Yeah.
that makes more sense and maybe
Yeah.
adds a little bit extra. Maybe they give you a few extra gameplay aspects, or they let you like the scenario A with Grace, I almost said Claire, is always in first person with first time you play it, and scenario A with
Yeah.
Leon is always in third person. And when you unlock the full version, it flip flops or something. There's ways that they could have did this.
Yeah.
But that initial, so also like we were saying that the I think we said it in the back before you got in, Chris, that probably one of my biggest issues. So we all played the original Resident Evils, whether it be the first one or the remake, remake. But because I would say that the gameplay and the style of funneling you back into the center and continuously moving out is clearly based on 7. But I would say the aesthetic of the hospital is trying to capture the original Spencer Mansion.
Yeah, it's like a combo of that
Yeah.
and a little bit of the RPD. But
Yeah.
yes, 100%. And like this, and like that kind of leads me into also what I wanted to bring up in terms of their remake structure, like how they're, like everyone's like, what's the next remake going to be? And most likely it is going to be Code Veronica.
I think they've already confirmed that.
I don't know if it's like all but confirmed, I think, at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. I mean,
but
it's not officially confirmed, but it's like it's almost there.
yeah, I
It's
have
the worst
hot,
kept secret since Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man No Way Home.
I have the hot take though. I really want them, especially after playing the first section of this game. I really want them to remake the first game, like and have it in RE engine. I know that the 2002 remake is like the best remake of all time, and like I'm not going to argue with that. It's great, and like that is right now the definitive way of
But at
playing
some
it.
point, how many times are you going to remake something? And then people are
No,
going to be
it's
like,
true. That's
Yeah.
true. But I just think that like it's so cool having the 2 remake, 3, not so much 3 remake.
3 remake was one of the biggest disappointments ever.
Yeah, but it would just be
definitely.
nice to have like all of them. You know what I mean? In the current modern engine. And I just think that walking around the Spencer Mansion with third person, the way you do the RPD in 2 remake, that would just be fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem with graphics, video games versus say movies. I mean, CGI's only comes so far, but then of course it said RE. Look at PlayStation 1 versus PlayStation 5 and eventually PlayStation 6. So like, yeah, it's like how many times
Fuck it, PlayStation 90.
that's what I'm saying.
Why are
Like,
we even
I mean,
stopping?
what's like Matt's saying, like looking at even like the current RE0 or the RE remake, yes, but like in PS5 graphics, I would be curious to see RE1 on PS5 Pro or something. Like it's
Yeah,
So,
it would just be fucking cool to play it that way. And like, look, I dig the tank controls. I get it. We all grew up on that shit. But it is still harder for newer gamers to come in on those games. And
well,
like, but
tank controls were out of necessity. It
of
wasn't an
course,
aesthetic thing. It was just because
of
of
course,
the fixed camera angles.
yeah.
that's becoming this biggest thing for all three of us. Like, I hate to say it because my son's turning 19 in May. That I hate to say that, guys, we are just much as we feel like we're not aging, we are not the target demographic anymore.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
You mean
Yeah,
what do you mean?
yeah. So like Matt was saying, I mean, I can tell my kid all day, like, hey, go back and play RE1. My kid would 100% play a RE1 remake on PS5 versus going back and playing an emulator.
Yeah.
That's a demographic.
I still think that the 2002 remake is very playable, especially when they redid it because now they've tweaked the controls
But like I said, Russ,
to
but the
be
thing is,
more modern.
if there was new RE1 announced, my kid not just my kid, but any kid right now, 15 and under, is going to want to play a RE1 remake on PS5 versus a 2012 remake. That's
I think what you're saying is we've become the video game equivalency to our dads watching Unforgiven over and over again.
Yep, basically,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
It's
where it's
like,
at.
we're like, no, this movie had everything. You don't understand.
I'm dealing with the show God of War. People are getting pissed off, like the whole God of War trilogy getting remade. The God of War franchise is almost 25 years old, guys. Like it's kids under 20 don't want to play a PlayStation 2 game. They don't.
Also,
Sorry.
the God of War, like the PlayStation 2 God of Wars, are very much products of their time, whereas the newer ones are a
Yeah.
bit more. They're going to be a bit more timeless because they're so story driven, as opposed to the first ones, which were very loose story with a lot of fighting and fucking in the middle. That's really all people wanted.
Yeah. But times do change, but every generation wants to see graphics are constantly updating. Like PS1 does not look like PS5. That's how it goes. You know?
Yeah, but it's just like the whole being able to play Spencer Mansion in like pure 3D. That would just fucking kick ass.
Yeah, this is something that needs to stop. We haven't even really touched too much on the story yet, but this is something that needs to stop. They need to stop having these predetermined DLC story editions.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop, but they need to stop it. It's become, I don't want to spend $80 for an incomplete version of the game. I don't want to be I don't want to be your beta tester.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I generally do not buy brand new games when they first come out. I usually wait a few months.
I will say also as a positive, God of War Ragnarok guys had a Valhalla DLC, 100% free.
So I don't mind if they eventually if they release something like later on that is, addition, but it should not, part of your story shouldn't be locked behind any kind of additional
Well,
money.
I agree. Yeah. DLC should be the point. Downloadable content should be extra, not mandatory for them. Yeah.
That's why I felt like the way they did it with 8, the Winter's DLC where you played as his daughter was done because it didn't fundamentally change the story. It just was what happened with her after the fact.
Right. And they do set it up in 8 when you're done beating it, they set it up. But yeah, it's still not like required reading.
Yeah, I don't think I didn't play it for quite a while, and I never felt like I missed anything.
Just curious, both of you guys, did you play the RE8 like when they eventually added the third person camera? Because I did, and again, some people
No, I played it the first. Honestly, so I've played 7 multiple times. 8, I've only played through twice. It's just every time I hit that. First of all, the fucking weirdo baby.
The second part that you go into.
Oh, I fucking hate that. I hate that goddamn baby.
That part's so awesome.
But on usually once you hit, and that still at least has a lot of the horror elements to it that I like. Once you start hitting the 3rd and 4th dungeon, we'll call them for the sake of argument. Heisenberg's it's not a castle, his like factory.
His factory, yeah.
Yeah, Heisenberg's factory is just the baby in 8. Yeah.
I mean, yes, but Heisenberg's factory in that game, it feels like the location is bizarre. You got those fucking sold out robots and shit. I get it. But in terms of like the level layout and backtracking, that it does feel very Resident Evil.
No, I agree with that. It's just by that point I was kind of done. I get that. much like this game, they front load the shit out of 8 by putting Dimitrescu's castle up front, which is the thing that was all the marketing. Everyone thought that Dimitrescu was going to end up being the main villain, and it turns out she's the first one you kill.
And like people should kind of just know that going into it, but I understand why people feel a little shortchanged with that one. But still, like my biggest problem with 8 in terms of replayability, and I've played it a few times. And to answer your question, yes, I did play the third person mode, and it was cool. It's kind of cool doing that, but I also feel like it's a little clunky,
felt tacked on.
And they really perfected that. Being able to switch with this new game, but I just feel like 8 is like painfully linear, like there's really only one way to go. And like, that's what's so cool about when you play the OG Resident Evil. Like there's just like really so many different ways of doing things and different routes you can take.
Well, they hide the linear nature of the original Resident Evil behind the fact that you are exploring the mansion.
Yes, exactly.
So it still is fairly linear when you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
you can do a couple of things out of order, but it's for the most part. I mean, 8. I would argue 8 is less linear than Resident Evil 1.
Oh,
It's just
I wouldn't agree with that.
no, because there's things you could go off and do randomly that it's kind of optional stuff you can go do.
Sure.
But because of that, you could do those in between. The main 4 dungeons are linear though.
Yeah.
The what's I can't remember his name all of a sudden. The fish dude.
Monroe.
Monroe. Yeah, he's the one I always forget. That one. That was the one. That's the most forgettable
It's
section of
fucking
that game.
stupid. It's so dumb. Yeah, it doesn't matter what difficulty you play that section on. He's actually hard if you play it on Village of Shadows or whatever. But the actual level itself, there's nothing to it. But he's actually a bitch though if you play it on the hardest difficulty.
Can have your optional are you saying opinion of Indie Game Showcase? I think that's what he's thinking. Can you just clarify if that's what you meant?
One thing I did like when it popped in 9, though, I did like the fact that some people do like there are, again, 7 sold fucking 15 million copies. There's a fan base for it, and 8 sold 10 million copies. The fact that you can go from first person to third person whenever you want to, I did like the option because some people watch them as Mauler Drinker, even Hillsbury Babyface, they play on third person. But I did play some section in first person. But the fact that you can choose that, I did like that because some people do want to play the game in first person. Some people want to play in third person. Them giving you the fans option, that's a good fan service to me.
I think that's solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I don't really know much about Indie Game Showcase 2026. I used to go to Penny Arcade Expo East, which had a lot of like a big indie game scene, but I haven't done that in years. I have, as I've gotten older, I've slowly but surely gotten away from gaming. Not for any other reason other than not having as much time as I used to.
Oh yeah.
But is there a specific thing you'd like an opinion on from Indie Game Showcase? I could at least try to maybe give you something. Overall, I mean, my thoughts are that it's a great thing that it exists as to have a show that's specific for indie games, because there's so many great indie games that get buried by AAA titles, especially you have what is it? Supergiant Games? Is that the one that does like Bastion and all those? That was Supergiant Games, right?
I don't know.
They were they're a great like indie developer that does awesome game. They did I think it's Supergiant. Is the Bastion, Transistor. They're the ones who did Hades. Like, so they do really great work. So I would love to see more indie games get focused going in the future. I think that's the way to go.
Definitely.
Not really a game. Generally, this is more of a movie show, but since Resident Evil has been such a big part of all of our lives, that's why
we make an exception for that.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you, Matt Ross, because you guys have played every single Resident Evil. Like, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, but like
the only one I've never played is the second Survivor, but it has no story. You can read the entire story in like 3 paragraphs.
Overall, I feel like the Resident Evil franchise, and this is me being as a gamer, when RE2 came out, my friend's PlayStation 1, we passed the paddle around, but it was more of like, hey, look, there's liquor. Hey, look, there's Mr. X. RE3 is obviously fucking Joe versus Nemesis. RE4 eventually goes into more action packed, but like RE5 and 6 are pure co-op games. Some people play the RE games for their storyline. I've never played a Resident Evil game for the storyline. RE7 is a very atmospheric. It feels like a very like not Amityville Horror or fucking like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Baker Family. Some people are shitting on like the storyline of RE9. To be honest, do we really play Resident Evil for the storyline? Like
I love the story of Resident Evil. I think it's the batshit insane, and I love every minute of it.
Yeah, like you enjoy it for how ridiculous it gets.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like the Saw films, right? I'm not watching Saw 10 for the plot. I'm watching it for the traps. Final Destination. Like when you're watching, like I said, if someone would say, well, okay, Fast and Furious 10, the plot's retarded. Did you watch the first 9?
Yeah.
Seen a lot of first timers out in the chat today. Pipes Canada. I don't think I've ever seen you in my chat before. Welcome to everybody who's normally not watching the show like live. It's awesome to see people, or maybe you are and I just never noticed.
But I would say like you might pull the entire franchise. Like RE2 has got there's some very cringy dialogues and very cringy voice acting, but that's also the appeal for Resident Evil. I think a lot of people they they think Resident Evil is some like high art cinema storytelling. It's really not. It's very atmospheric. And I
It was
played it
basically a B movie, B game. It was
exactly. And it's like the Scream film. I just watched Scream 7. I'm not watching the Scream films for their great dialogue and plot. You know exactly what's going to happen in Scream 7 as what happened in the first 6 Scream films.
Well, yeah, I mean, and like I've heard some people say that like, oh, the tragedy of Resident Evil 7 and Evelyn, that's like so deep. And it's like, no, it's not. Fuck
Mm-mm.
off. No, it's not. Like, it's not. That's stupid. Um, yeah, like there is nothing that is like smart about any of these plot lines whatsoever. They're just there so you can play a game, basically. And yeah,
Which yeah.
like the acting has gotten more sophisticated over the years, and if you compare this game, the acting compared to the original Resident Evil, well, yeah, it's like fucking way better.
so
But the story's just eh.
I'm not going to highlight it only because I don't feel like my channel getting. But if you guys look over in the chat real quick at Pipes
I
Canada,
see, yeah.
just saying, if you got your channel banned for calling someone a British cigarette, you probably shouldn't do it in a chat again.
We all like British cigarettes. We're fine.
Like,
But yeah, Matt, like there used to even drink early was Russ been on there, like Sisu 2, right? I went to Sisu 2, I walked out, I loved every second of it. I'm not watching Sisu 1 and 2 for the plot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to bring up, because I know we're like, I don't want to get too far away from it, because I know Matt's got to go. He's got like a hard out at like in about 40-ish minutes.
Probably 30, but yes.
30 minutes, and then we'll probably just kind of call it a show at that point, because but the what is I don't know if it's the same thing for you guys in Modern. I'm guessing it probably is, but is it just me, or is every creature and villain a fucking bullet sponge in this game?
Oh my god, yeah. Jesus,
Like,
yeah.
Not for Leon, that's a problem. Because remember, and I made a mistake, Russ Grace. I was like, damn, I killed out all these fucking zombies. Come back, Leon, he's one shot everything and hatches and stuff. Because Leon, 2-tap to the fucking knees, they come down. Melee hit them.
not in classic. They don't come. You 2-tap that. You have to
Uh.
sometimes take out like 4 or 5 on their knees in classic.
But the thing is like, yeah, even if you're Leon, they are still kind of bullet spongy, but you still
have more ammo.
You have more ammo, and like you have your melee attacks and all that. So
Even the RE2 remake, fucking with Claire, sometimes some zombies you're hitting fucking 6 headshots to zombies in the RE2 remake. So like that's again, playing on easy, playing hard, playing fucking hardcore, any game. Both bullet sponges are depending on what difficulty you're playing on.
Yeah.
So probably the villains I hate the most in this, the creatures I hate the most, are like the evolution, like they're kind of like lickers, but not lickers, because they just have the like liquor looking head. They're the evolved zombies.
Oh, God, what do they call them? They're not, because like they're the first game, the first remake has the crimson heads.
Yeah, they're
the
kind of like
heads, the
crimson
blister heads.
Blister
Yeah.
heads. They're like somewhere between a crimson head and a liquor, because it has but they even say in one of the files that they can't see because their eyes blow up.
Yeah.
But they beeline it right to you every single fucking time.
The shape of their heads reminds me of the zombies with the head crabs in Half-Life. That's what they kind of like.
Yes.
The shape looks like that.
Yeah. But they say that they can't see and they go based on sound. But then you'll be like sitting perfectly quiet and they'll just walk right up to you. I'm like, you're just being bullshit at this point.
I did like the liquors, and actually the whatever I call it, the hag monster. They are blind, and if you crouch with fucking Grace, they actually do respond to, like, if you crouch, they won't see you, which I did like the detail.
But the one thing that I also really hate, and it mostly applies to the blister heads, what they're calling them.
Yeah,
the blister heads, but it applies to pretty much all of them. If they go into these uncounterable lunge situations, where specifically the blister heads like will just start swinging.
They swipes, that they do.
And from like a distance, and like even the regular zombies when they get, because they'll pick up weapons, which I do like that. I like that they retain some of their.
Yeah, that's a cool spin on.
Like some of them are like
also the dialogue.
Well,
I hate you.
Yeah. But like, and then if they use a weapon, you can use that weapon right back on them, which is fucking awesome. They hit you with a piece of concrete. Well, guess what? You could throw it right back at them.
Yeah.
I mean, and like you can deflect some of that with Leon. You can't do that shit with Grace though. Like Leon's got the parry system, which I don't think is as satisfying to do as it is in the Resident Evil 4 remake. There's something about doing it with the knife that just makes it when you do it, you know. Whereas this one, the hatchet, it's not as cool.
We're talking about Resident Evil 9 and nerding out over it. And
Well,
we just got a super
Nikolai.
chat from Melvin Deeply for 5 fake monies. Blue, you old alky. He's calling you an alky.
Like, it's almost gone, you prick. Like,
Why are you sober tonight? Oh man, Melvin.
I got vodka son.
Thank you for the super chat, Melv. What were we saying right before the super chat? I'm sorry.
I was talking about the parry system and like how it's more satisfying. In the
One thing, so there are some mechanics that I'm really digging. The fact that you can, if you're in the middle of a shot and sometimes when they go to grab you, you'll just like put the gun under their face and shoot them.
Oh yeah,
pretty
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Which is something that it's almost like an advanced version of the self-defense weapons from previous games.
Yeah.
But I just wish I knew I don't know the timing yet because there's definitely some sort of timing to it. But
it's kind of inconsistent, I do admit.
Yeah. But for the one mechanic I think is stupid and I wish they didn't put in is sharpening the tomahawk, sharpening the hatchet.
That's kind of gay.
Yeah, I'm like, why did you add this for the sake of adding it?
It wears down. Come on.
Yes, but if you but eventually, if you keep sharpening a blade, it's nothing, and he has to do it like every 5 minutes, so it would just be this worn down. Nub.
I seen a meme where they show the Capcom executive with a big bong hit, like, "Hey guys, okay, what we're gonna do is take scrap and blood to make bullets with scrap and blood."
That's also really stupid.
It's okay. We're just. Well, remember, Chris Redfield was punching boulders fighting Wesker in a fucking.
I mean, the dude had fucking, like, I mean, oh man,
he's fucking roided out.
My arms, I mean, I don't have much definition, but my arms are about like 16 inches around. His were like 29 inches around.
They're so ridiculous.
That's why
Resident Evil 5 was ridiculous. Yeah,
that's why I said with the franchise, it's so hard. I mean, like even Resident Evil fucking 2, Mr. X just kept like evolving, and of course Nemesis, like this is so realistic in terms of like the Fast and Furious films. Like there's realism, but there's not realism. It's hard with Resident Evil. Like,
yeah, I mean, and then it's like, 7 goes back to basics, and there's a lot of truth to that. But then at the very end of the game, you've got like the gigantic fucking Evelyn, mold creature that you have to shoot. It's stupid.
Like, with 7, I'm not trying to like dismiss it. Like as I'm playing, I'm like, you know what? Everyone knows Jack, right, and the mother, but like in terms of 7, there's literally 7 has one enemy type. That's it.
They had 7 as the weakest variety,
and they're not even scared. It's
7 is based on ambiance. It's pure, like horror film.
I love 7. Like, I mean, 7 is phenomenal.
I love 7.
But like
people say it's so scary. I'm like, no offense, it's got a big black moldy creature. There's nothing. I was never one time scared by 7. I appreciated the first person.
The scariest thing in 7 is the DLCs. Those are the scariest things in 7.
Well,
like,
and then before you run into the first molded in 7, it's pretty creepy. It's pretty creepy. And then once you hit those, it's like
the fact that they could also walk out of walls basically was kind of weird. Yeah. You might be walking past a wall and it just kind of walks next to you, which is pretty.
I think that's a problem with 7. It's like, well, any kind of creature, like, okay, like, the molded creatures, they're terrifying the first time. After the fucking 50th time killing them, now they're boring.
Yeah, and then the crawly ones, those were fucking annoying.
Which is why with Resident Evil 9 with Grace and fighting, I call her the hag monster. The first time, oh shit, she's scary, she's intense. Run to the light. Second time, I'm seeing YouTube and Facebook videos. Now I've seen her 56 times. She's not scary anymore. Now she's
no. Eventually, once you figure out her patterns, it's just like any pursuer, though. And I was saying that whole sequence with her, especially down in the basement. It's clearly inspired by Alien Isolation. Yeah. Because they even have her coming out of holes in the ceiling. It's very much inspired. But it's not done as well. Alien Isolation had an independent AI that was following you around, and whereas this is much more scripted. Occasionally, if you fire your gun too much, she might show up. But you could do like 5 or 6 shots, which is enough to take down a single zombie, and she won't show up. It's only if you fire like 10 that she'll show up.
Well, that's the thing with Nemesis that we guys see this with a remake. Nemesis initially, he would just randomly pop the fuck up and chase you down.
That's not true.
What in the first one?
That's not true. No, every Nemesis, every single one of them is a scripted event. It's just based on the decisions you make. It changes the script. Every single Nemesis encounter. I can tell you.
That being said, though, like the remake, though, like they throw that out the window.
But here's the thing: is they did it
Yeah.
very cleverly in the original Nemesis because it
Yes,
was
yeah.
based on decisions. So if
Yes.
you
Okay.
decided, hey, I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna do this particular one. Now he would show up over in the
Yeah.
post office. If you did it a different way, he shows up in the restaurant. So it has the illusion
Okay.
of being that he's pursuing you. Whereas the remake was strictly there is like 9 times you're going to run into him, no matter what
It's
you
just
do.
one massive cutscene. That's like
Yeah.
all it is. It's
Well, that's what I'm saying, Ross.
retarded.
It's the point that like when when he's basically scripted, it's like once now he's not terrifying. Versus like the first game, it's like he felt very random, and that's what made him more terrifying. Versus like now I'm just
I think I know I
what I mean?
could probably predict exactly which one makes you think it's random. It's the one where you come out of the power plant and he just shoots the rocket and kills zombies for you. Is the one that a lot of
been a
people
while.
often point to as like
Yeah.
that seems like he was pursuing me because it does feel like
Yeah.
that.
What's the point that like people would say less is more. Like said the hag monster, like when they show Grace, once I knew her pattern, after 10 minutes, I'm like, damn, she's kind of predictable, and just it's I've seen her so much now. Where like I want to see less of the hag monster. I call her
Where I
you
do
know.
find it kind of yo, Maddie, what's up?
Hey Matt.
Trying to get Maddie on the show soon, but his schedule it's hard to schedule this guy. He's very much in demand. Mostly from his family and job, but like um I do find it funny that the hag monster, as you keep calling it, is clearly a response to they didn't want everybody to be like, let's fuck the monster this time. So there's like,
I mean, again, I got vodka.
yeah,
I mean, I'm sure there's some
you drink
weirdos,
you drink enough of this stuff, and even she becomes Lady Demetrescu
Yeah.
at some point. But
Yeah.
do you guys have the Demetrescu costume, by the way?
No,
Oh, I
Oh,
didn't
so
get that. No,
I
I
have
was
the Demetrescu costume. I don't suggest playing with it.
yeah.
It looks fun. It looks like funny to see her walking around, but the hat at certain points in cutscenes blocks out what you're supposed to
Yeah.
see. And the scene where the girl, the hag, is you think she grabbed your foot is bare. It's underneath the dress, so you don't even see what's
Can't see
going
anything.
on.
Yeah.
So it's like
Jesus.
I don't suggest activating the Demetrescu costume until you've officially played it once already.
No, I probably won't do that. And I'm just gonna wait for mods to come out, you
Yeah.
know, like while all the perverts are gonna do their thing, you know.
Somebody showed a mod from what was it, CJ from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas
Mm-hmm.
as the Emily monster. It's like it's people laughing their ass off. There's our
My
mod,
all-time favorite mod will always be the Macho Man Randy Savage Dragon mod
Skyrim.
from Skyrim. Oh yeah. But yeah, I don't even know. I feel like we've lost the plot. It's fine. I don't
Well,
mind.
it's funny, like it said, love or hate this franchise. I'm already seeing articles putting out right, like so there was at least 3 people refunded the game saying, "Hey, there's a scene. Okay, there's spiders in the game. Not a big deal. Spiders in the game. The game did give me an arachnophobia warning. I have a very severe arachnophobia. I'm refunding this game, giving this game 1 out of 10 because you didn't put an arachnophobia warning."
That's a thing.
I am actually the game grounded.
Do we need to also be like, hey, there's also there's implied, child labor law issues. We should
No
probably
bullshit. Games for us. I've seen mainstream fucking. My friend Carlton played Grounded with his wife. Grounded Xbox Game Pass. Before you start the game, it says there's a trigger warning for arachnophobia for giant spiders, and some people were refunding Resident Evil 9 for arachnophobia warning. Just like at least 5 people, they show the screenshots. We're refunding RE9 because it's too scary.
Okay, well, yeah, let's refund the game for the lamest part in the game.
Oh, the spider pursuit.
Yeah.
First of all, I mean, here's the thing: is at least
Come
they
on,
actually
man.
made the spider kind of difficult to fight.
Yeah.
Not like crazy hard, but like
Once you kind of get how it works, it's
once you
not.
figure. But that's all the villains in any Resident Evil. As soon
Yeah.
as you figure out the pattern, you're fine.
Yeah.
But historically, the spiders in all of the games are like the least impressive villains.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be.
I mean, I'm playing it and I'm like, all right, I get it. You know, there's giant spiders in the first one. I understand that. But what the fuck now? It's like I'm suddenly in Shelob's lair. You know, this is so stupid.
Yeah, and that's what people saying, like Matt and to Anna, like that's what I want this game to be scary again because there is horror elements, but like because 8 was a response to like, oh, the game's too scary, let's tone it down. Now we're back to like now the game's scary again, but oh, some people you can't win. So that's why people get pissed off. Like you focus on game sales, yeah, because look at users now. When
This
people
guy saw Scream 7. I think I've seen 2 of the Scream movies ever, so you're not going to get much of an opinion out of me. But maybe after Matt leaves, I'll let Chris give his little.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so
Yeah.
I saw it, it's just again, if you watch 1 through 6.
Look, hold on. The last Life is Strange game had like 20 trigger warnings. The whole existence of Life is Strange is a trigger warning. The entire game is trigger warnings.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I'm trying to think of like I hold on, let me pull up my notes because we've gone all over the place. That my notes are like Oh, one thing that I said in the backstage before. I know Matt hasn't, but Chris, have you ever played Evil Within?
Yes, actually,
Did you play the second one?
The second one's it's a better Resident Evil game than most Resident Evil games.
Yeah, and I actually think that if you enjoy the Raccoon City portion of this game, you need to play Evil Within 2. It is, yeah.
It's actually on PS5 store. It was on sale for like $5. I'm going to buy it probably tomorrow and just eventually stream it. But yes, I think was some producers or developers, they left Capcom and
it was all the original Resident Evil like crew basically did Evil Within. But the first one's very linear. The first Evil Within is extremely linear. But scary as fuck. Honestly, that's a creepy game. And I usually don't get too creeped out by games. That one's got some weird stuff going on. The second one, it's more open. You can kind of select where you go. I think it's really you can like both games, but you're probably gonna like one or the other better. Very good games though. Very underrated games. Let's see. Raccoon City reminded me of that. Preferred the scenario system. The hospital section needed more distinct markings. I'm just going through my notes real quick. I did say like we kind of said like it was a little bit more RE6 than I would have liked at certain parts, especially
honestly, yes, and that sucks. You know, I was having RE6 flashbacks sometimes when I was playing.
I know, and that's what we said. Like Matt told you, both you guys like beforehand, like RE5, 6, and 7, like boy, they were divisive, but like the sales and like the fan reviews, like even my kid Russ this year, I streamed RE5 and 6 with my kid, bought them on sale for $5 a piece. They are terrible horror games, but co-op games. RE5 and RE6, they're great co-op games.
So 5, the reason why 5 is not a good horror game is because almost the entirety of the game takes place in bright daylight.
Well, they were like their inspiration was Black Hawk Down. Like, what a weird fucking movie to like kind of copy for your horror game, you know?
And 6 was just 6
was like if Michael Bay got a hold of Resident Evil.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
6 had like 4 almost decent games in there, but because they didn't spend enough time on any one of them, it created a mess.
And that's the funny part. If you go from RE5 to RE6, if you took away the title RE6 and to say the action game, the controls are RE6 are fucking vastly superior to RE5. The controls in RE6 are fucking perfect. And it's a co-op game, drop in, drop out. It's a fantastic co-op game. It's a bad Resident Evil game, but it's a great action game. That's the problem with RE6, and it's so well.
I just had something and I totally lost it on the. Oh, hello. Another former cast member of the panel. Hold on, I just had something. I totally lost it. Keep going. I'll remember this. Oh, the fact that I said the sequence where she almost has her like Ellen Ripley moment. Mm-hmm. The fact that you go through all this shit to save Emily, you basically derail your entire pursuit of getting out to I mean, you do need her for one of the puzzles, but for the most part, like, and then they just, as soon as you're out, they just fucking kill her.
Well, you haven't beaten it yet, so
I know, but
indeed,
but it's just I don't know. It just I nobody likes escort missions, especially escort missions where you can't use anything because you're holding the person.
Yeah, it's annoying.
what was it? And also the you know what's another really annoying enemy is the shooter, the BSAA guys with
Oh yeah, yeah.
automatic rifles that you can't get anywhere near. Though I actually did really like the sequence where you're in the glass
Oh yeah, that
room.
was
Yes,
That
cool.
was a
That
pretty
was a
cool
cool
yeah.
sequence.
idea.
For those who aren't playing, there's a sequence where you so obviously you're in Raccoon City, and it's it should be more destroyed than it is, and you find out that there's reasons for that. But because I mean, it still did have a missile go off right in the middle, so there's buildings that are
Yeah.
half knocked over and shit. Um, though I will say this, they are hardcore retconning the fact that we watched the entirety of Raccoon
That,
City get evaporated.
that's been a fan debate too. I've seen like
Yeah,
some people are like, is Raccoon City destroyed? Some people are like, yes, some people say no. It's
yeah,
like that's been a big
yeah.
debate.
But there's one sequence where you're trying to find a specific part to get into an area, and one of the buildings you go in is on its side, like at least the top of it is, and so the floor is the glass, and you could actually shoot
Yeah.
out the glass and have people fall through it, which is awesome.
Yeah, including yourself if you're not careful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can actually corner yourself too if you do them in the wrong order. You have to start over because you're now stuck in a corner and you can't get out of it.
Yeah.
The fact that they retcon the nuking of Raccoon City still doesn't say well. So yeah, and I think that's probably my biggest lore issue with this. Like obviously it's packed with random references, which is fine. That doesn't really that's not going to do it for me in terms of the entire that's just not enough. But the fact that they are going back and being like you didn't see what you saw annoys me.
That's been
Yeah.
and Capcom said the shit. Capcom's like, well, in RE2 and RE3, we technically speaking didn't use a nuke. We used a thermobocular missile that
But
wasn't
you
technically used.
watch
I
everything
know.
blow up.
So it's like,
Yeah, it might not be radioactive, but it's
Yeah.
like
yes,
it still should just be dust, you know.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, and when you're playing as Leon, you're like 15 miles outside of where the
yeah,
detonation point was. So that's how they kind of get around that. Even though you go back to the RPD and
Yeah.
it's still a standing structure, whatever.
yeah,
I mean, you can, even when nukes were dropped in real life, there were still there were still portions of buildings that existed. Not
yeah,
everything got destroyed, but
yeah,
it does seem like it is annoying to see because I don't want to see them go back thermobaric. There you
yes,
go. I don't want to see them do this to too many things. Like
Yeah.
I was half expecting for like Nemesis to roll up and or
mm,
Mr. X to show up and be like, I've been here all
mm,
along waiting. Like,
yeah,
No.
yeah. Well, I mean,
oh well.
yeah. Well,
Hmm.
I mean, one thing I know Matt's getting a long time, but like, the bottom line is this: Resident Evil came out March 22nd, 1996. This franchise now is 30 years old, and the fact that like 30 years later we're also playing it, and like whatever, love or hate the franchise, RE9 is breaking so many records in terms of like Steam sales, console sales, Metacritic fans, but like the fact that 30 years later we're still playing Resident Evil, and like this is the issue we're having. Like, okay, well, it's more action packed than horror elements. Well, for a 30-year-old franchise, some would debate that to stay relevant, you kind of can't keep repeating the same formula from 1996.
No, I think you're right. There is something to say about that, where it is a 30-year-old franchise. And like, yeah, we might be kind of nitpicking things and like we might be a little disappointed in this area, but
Yeah.
still, like in terms of like modern games, this is like way better than half the shit you can
So
be playing right now.
there's
You know?
very few. So many series have tried to evolve over time, and many. Which it's ironic that one of the ones that's done it the best is Resident Evil because the whole thing is about evolving, viruses and the
Yeah.
next step of human evolution. Obviously, we've had the Metal Gear Solids of the world, and you have like Final Fantasy. I don't count because every game is kind of its
Yeah.
own.
But we still have Devil May Cry, God of War, et cetera, et cetera. But some
Yeah.
franchise, but Resident Evil, like again, a franchise started in the 90s, and we're pushing 2030. And this game in 2026, this game sales wise and fan wise is breaking records for a 30-year-old franchise. That says something right there.
Yeah.
No,
But
that's definitely true.
yeah, I mean, and I'm pretty certain. I mean, obviously they want to do remakes of pretty much everything. They want to do 5 remake. They want to do. I think what they're really trying to get to is they want to get to 6 so they could redo it. It's not gonna be it's not gonna be 6 remake. It's gonna be 6 redux. It's gonna
Well,
be like we're gonna,
I think that that's probably in the cards, but my whole thing is like everyone's saying like, oh, you need to remake 5. You need to remake 5, but I don't know if they're going to do that just because of the controversy. Like it's dumb, but like
Yeah.
it's racist, that bullshit.
I mean, is it any more racist than the fact that the first
No.
zombie you find in like locked up in a jail cell is a black guy in this one?
Well, yeah, but then there's actually like a bunch of like black zombies in this,
Yeah.
and
But quite literally, the first one you walk up to and it's in a jail cell is
Yeah.
the
yeah.
black one.
Yeah, well, I mean, and like no one has a problem with like you're just mowing down Spaniards in part 4, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like because there were it
Well,
was in
yeah.
Africa, but like I don't know if Capcom wants to relive that. I mean, yeah, at the same time they're a Japanese company, they're Asians, they don't give a shit. So maybe
Mhm.
they're just not going to care. I don't know, but for me, like I just think that like 5 is very low on the priority list because of the
Well, for a
controversy
fact
side
if
of
they
it.
did the same thing they did the first time around, where it was because originally it was all like almost every they weren't Las Plagas. What were they called in the 5th one again? I can't
Are
remember.
they're a form of Plagas,
They
weren't they?
were Plagas, but
Yeah.
I don't remember. They had a different name
Yeah,
for them.
yeah.
I
They
can't remember off
they,
the
they
top of my
call them
head.
Ganados in 4, and
Yeah.
they call them something else in
Yeah.
5. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Ganados. It was something else. It was some other. It was like an African name for the area, but they turned them from black to
Oh, the, zo-
off white, so to say.
the
Yeah.
zombies in RE5 are called Majani.
That's it.
Johnny,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
Majani. Yeah,
Swahili for evil spirits. But yes.
yeah. The that's the one that's one of the ones I haven't played quite as often. But the that nowadays there would be a mod like, within a day there'd be a mod to turn all of them right back. They'd be like,
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
one thing Matt said though. The thing was Japan versus America is Japan. They don't care about messaging. They care about like, hey, like RE5 sold whatever 20 billion copies. Okay, so we're gonna remake it. We don't care about your political politics because Japan cares about money, not politics.
Yeah, I mean, but my only response to that would be they kind of do like if you play the 4 remake, they kind of tone down Ashley a bit where like back in the day Leon's just like hide and she hides.
Yeah.
And the first time you tell her to hide in the remake, she's like, "What?"
Yeah. They also took away her ballistics and
Yeah, that too. And
yeah.
what's his face? What's the guy?
Carlos. Not Carlos. Sorry, not Carlos. Oh no. Fuck.
Yeah, what the fuck's his name? Why can't I think of his name
No,
right
it's the same.
now?
Luis.
Yeah, what's his name?
Luis.
Luis, yeah. Luis doesn't like have his like little sexual quips that he gives her. You know what I mean? Like they tone that stuff down.
Yeah.
So, and it's not. I don't think it's because of Japanese sensibilities. It's because they know they're making these games for asshole Americans.
Yeah, well, they need to accept that they're selling to a world market. That's the thing is, so they need to make some concessions. Unfortunately, I just want to bring up Protophile, who was supposed to be on the panel, but has decided to pay me $5 to say, please remake 5. I mean, you just gave me 5. I don't know if I can remake that. I would pay out the nose to see that happen. Well, you only paid $5, so I don't think you're speaking.
Yeah.
Like you're put your money where your mouth is, Protophile. I'm just joking.
I mean, 5.
But it also,
Oh,
go ahead.
5 said replaying with my kid. Like 5 could use some updated controls, but yeah, 5 I would 100% play a 5 remake. The smart option was make 5 remake, make it like $30 or at most 40. It would sell crazy. Don't make it $60. Make it like 30.
Yeah, 5 is still too like it's not modern, but it's like it's not so dated that it's like holy shit, like this needs a remake.
Yeah, 5 was they've pretty much kept the style since 5 in terms of how the controls work. They've just tweaked them slightly, but that was mostly where it all originated. 5 almost ended up being a big ass tech demo for future installments. Did Resident Evil do any remasters like Soul Reaver? Not really. They just do the remakes. I mean, they did a couple of here and there. Like Resident Evil 1 remake got a remaster a couple years back.
Well, original 4 was remastered to like
that's because they knew they could resell that over and over again. But for the most part, they just remake the games at this point. Whereas like Soul Reaver, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't I think they are actually making a sequel to Soul Reaver, like a new installment to that franchise, not necessarily a direct sequel.
They're talking about it, yeah.
Yeah, I think because I know that they're remastering, or it's coming out very soon. Actually, Soul Reaver was the last one, Defiance.
Yeah, top of you see you streamed Onimusha. They're making a new a new Onimusha sequel, which
Legacy of Kain Defiance. Sorry, that was what it was.
yeah.
But yeah, Onimusha is another one. Capcom
Yeah.
continues to push their franchises. That's one thing I will always say about whether sometimes they make some missteps, obviously, like when they redid Devil May Cry with that DMC, the like really edgy I'm not the same Dante that you always remembered one. That failed. So then they came right back with Devil May Cry 5 and we're like, sorry, this is the real one.
Yeah, which is smart.
Onimusha is I forget what the new one's being called, but they're actually remastering all the Onimusha. I want a remaster of 3 so bad, but I'm not sure if they're gonna do it.
Yeah, have John Reno in it.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why they would have to get, the likeness rights back and all that stuff. So that might end up making it difficult. But that was, to this day, that has the greatest opening cinematic in gaming history, in my opinion.
It's called Onimusha Way of the Sword. It comes out this year too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's got to be like Q4 then, because I haven't even seen that really pop up on anything yet.
Gentlemen, I got to get going.
All right, not a problem. You go, and we'll talk about I guess Scream 7 for a few minutes before we all go.
All right, Matt.
Good seeing you guys today.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
All right, take it easy.
And now we are almost okay. Now it's like that first stream that we did years ago.
Jesus Christ!
Is it 2023 again? Because apparently it's me and blue collar.
We look exactly the same, except you got more gray. Yeah.
No, I'm definitely heavier. I had to take so much time off from jiu-jitsu for my back.
Really?
Yeah. I've had injections and stuff. It sucks. It's
Dude, I tell people
it's almost like staying in a crouched position for extended periods of time fighting people was a terrible idea for 17 years.
I tell people I never get sick. I never get injured. I have no idea why. I'm never sick. It's weird. I'm never hurt. Nothing.
I don't really get sick, but I definitely have a lot of injuries that have built up over the years. But you said that you saw since we had some people mention Scream 7. Do you want to talk about it? This is totally you.
Yeah, no, I will say Scream 7, like, you know what? The Scream films, the first one's easily the best one. I will give them credit where the franchise stays relevant, Russ. Like 5 and 6 talks about remakes, reboots. Scream 7 talks about deepfakes and AI. So they at least stay modern to modern technology. Scream 7, listen, if you've seen 1 through 6, right? The opening, Ghostface kills a bunch of teenagers. Every single Scream films. The second act is just the main characters discovering who Ghostface is. The third act is Ghostface pulling off their mask, telling the main characters who we are. Obviously, bring back Nev Campbell. That's it. As much as I can't say go. Scream 7 is the one to pull you in, right? Because again, Fast and Furious 10. If you hated Fast 1 through 9, you're gonna hate Fast 10. Scream 7 is no better or worse than Scream franchise. Every Scream film is the whole like who done it. Once you find out who the killer is, you kind of watch it once and just don't watch it again. They're not great, but they're not terrible. They're just like it's a Friday night, get some beers, eat a pizza, watch them one time, and they're serviceable films. I didn't love Scream 7, didn't hate Scream 7. I'm like, you know what? Cool. It's a one-time watch. It talks about deepfakes, AI in 2026. I'll go watch Scream 8, but I wouldn't rush out to pay it. It's a good streaming film. I would not pay $20 to go see Scream 7.
No.
Watch it on fucking Netflix or Hulu or something.
Majority of movies aren't worth the theatrical experience anymore. Unless it's designed specifically for theaters, there's almost no reason. So far, this is March 3rd. I've been praising this. The Sam Rockwell film, Good Luck, Don't Die, is the only film so far in the past 2 months I would have paid money to see. The Sam Rockwell film is fucking fantastic. Every other film this year has been like maybe a $5 Tuesday. Yeah.
That's it. But yeah, I've not. And honestly, Russ, the scary part is besides like, I don't know, the Odyssey or fucking
and the more that comes out about the Odyssey, the less I'm interested in the movie. It's
I mean, I'm gonna go see Ready or Not 2 because I like Ready or Not 1, but again, Ready or Not 2, it's probably gonna be a $5 film. It's a sequel.
What else? I mean, what else comes out? Well, there's the Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie.
Okay, yes, actually, Mario Galaxy. There's probably gonna be probably going to be objectively the best film of the year. I don't see any film beating Mario Galaxy this year.
And I'm catching strays from myself. Though that happens to me a lot. I've noticed that. So like, I was in the comments of like an open bar, and someone was like, I was one I wasn't even on, and people were like, "Fuck him." I was like, "The hell? Why you gotta say fuck me for?"
I tell people all the time that Dark Hour guy's an asshole. I hate that fucker Dark Hour. I would never stream with that piece of shit. Like,
I was like, "Holy shit! I wasn't even part of this. What is going on here?" Yeah, I mean, I did highlight for that guy who was asking about how do I do it? I always forget on not just starred. Here we go. So this was the one game that Lao Boys, which I'm not sure if that's some sort of reference to something.
Solitaire.
I looked it up. It looks like a very artistic like side scroller, from what I can see, in the vein of like have you played maybe like what is it, Shank or something like that, like where it's like these indie side scroller games? It kind of looks like it's maybe in that realm, but very artsy and very you know, colorful, which is pretty cool. I would play it. I'd give it a shot.
I'm seeing like this is a YouTube video from, it says solitary demo bosses from 6 days ago. Yes, very just 2D, beautiful art design. Yeah,
like a fun. Yeah, I'd give it a shot.
Yeah, definitely.
How do I go? Okay. How do we get back to the actual? Oh no, I have to unstar this.
Well, I can ask you then too, as a resident comic book nerd like me and MCU, like, is there, dare I see any hope? But like with Avengers Doomsday, it's more like I'm curious. I'm not excited. I'm just curious to see what they're going to do, because let's be honest. Okay. Yeah. Patrick Stewart's back. Okay. Him, Magneto, and James Marsden as Cyclops. What are they going to get, dude? What, 5 minutes of screen time at the best? You know, it's like, what's the point of Doomsday? Okay. We're bringing back 97 fucking actors and Robert Downey's Dr. Doom. What's the point? Why are we excited for?
I've never played Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm not as up on games as I used to be. I just know that there was a string of like where people who fell in love with side scrollers when they were kids, like when they became game developers, they were making them. There was that what was it? There was like that one that was inspired by Ninja Gaiden. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. And then, like I said, there was Shank, which was like very much like a hyper violent you know, but it was like there was a lot of these independent side scrollers that were coming out for a while. So I'm all for that. I'm all for
Ori's a beautiful game. But yeah, so like Anna said, or Karen, Doomsday's just memory. But what is like Doomsday, dude? Okay, what? Fantastic Four, yay. We get Chris Evans coming back, kind of. We get Hemsworth is back as Thor. But
I mean, I have no faith in Doomsday. They have, every time you hear something new about it, it's oh, we still have no script. Oh, we don't even know who's in these scenes. It's they are hanging their hat so much on the fact that, you know, they were able to get Robert Downey Jr. to come back, which, I mean, was that really that everything the guy has tried to do since leaving has not worked out. I mean, it was the most mutual of we need yous in the history of Hollywood.
And like, even in Canada, you can't tell me, well, okay, Tom Holland's Peter Parker, point Chris Hemsworth, though. You look exactly like Tony Stark for some reason, Mr. Dr. Doom character. Like,
they'll definitely go that route for sure. Did I miss anything in the chat? Like, obviously, like we were gonna make this a shorter show today for reasons.
Well, I mean, Project Hail Mary again.
I'm interested in that actually.
I want to like that. I'm hoping it's good. It's like, but even the Spielberg Emily Blunt film, Spielberg Aliens yet again. I mean, maybe there'll be hidden gems, but right now as the docket, I'm not excited to see anything. I want Hail Mary to be good. I want this new Spielberg film to be good. Will they be? I don't know.
I mean, it's weird because I feel, I don't know where it happened, but all of a sudden, Ryan Gosling is some sort of weird resurgence of the white actor. Like it's the white main character in an action or sci-fi movie. It's so weird. Because, you know, everybody just knew him as like the heartthrob, and then all of a sudden in the last like 5 or so years, he's
I do want to see the new Alan Ritchson film that's going right to Netflix. Because Alan Ritchson's putting out some good fucking movies, and his new war film, but of course it's on Netflix. But in terms of like theater films, Like,
Who
dude,
is it?
like,
Wait, who is this? I'm sorry.
the guy who plays Jack Reacher, Alan Richardson.
Oh, yeah. I'll always remember him as Thad Castle. That's the only.
That's it.
I have a Thad Castle jersey
That's
somewhere
awesome.
actually. Like,
Yeah, it's great. See, what's the name of the film? It's coming out to Netflix. It's War Machine. War Machine does look pretty good.
okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, he's trying to milk the fact that he's a big
Yeah.
jack dude as long as he can, and I mean, he's already in his like late 30s, isn't he?
Dude, dude, he's fucking like almost 45. Look at him right
Oh,
now.
okay, so his early 40s then. Okay, yes. I mean, he's unfortunately for him, he didn't really make it
I
into
know.
those roles until it's so he's gonna have to. That's happened quite a few times too. I mean, you think about it, it kind of
Yeah.
happened with Hugh Jackman, where he had to put his body through hell to stay in the shape
Yeah.
for
No bullshit.
years.
This November, Alan Richardson turns 44.
Wow, he looks
44. So
good.
yeah.
Looks damn. He
Oh
looks
yeah.
younger than he looks younger than us.
Well, he said it looks good, but the thing is, he still is 44. I mean, but I mean, honestly, dude, this summer I can't think of anything this summer I want to say. It's fucking sad, man.
Capitalizing on the contingent of guys who say Ryan Gosling is literally me. Reminds me of when I used to actually care about How I Met Your Mother, and there was the whole sequence where Barney was like, "I'm Ryan Gosling, and I had extensive plastic surgery to be in a movie," and they were like, "Prove it." He was like, "Hey, girl," and that's all he needed to do.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, I forgot. This summer we get to have a new Minions film. We get to have Toy Story 5. We get to have
Toy Story. So, I mean, if we're just gonna sit here and go through all the shit for the year, I mean, we might as fucking well, all right? But Toy Story 5. Here's the thing about Toy Story. We've gotten to the point where I always say this. Toy Story 4 is not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It's an unnecessary movie. It's not a bad movie.
Sure, let's go with that.
It's not, I mean, it's just unnecessary. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great either. It was just a movie. It wasn't, it was just but that's the reason why it's perceived as bad, is because it really had the third movie was the end of the trilogy. It ended a trilogy on the note we wanted to see.
Yeah, and I forgot. July 10th. I'm so sorry. The live action Moana. That's on my top of my fucking list for this year. Live action Moana.
That's, in my opinion, that's the crazy shit. Isn't that movie only like 9 years old or something like that? The original Moana. It's like you're remaking something that isn't even a decade old at this point. Let's see, Moana 1.
You remember that tired old franchise called He-Man, right?
Yeah, the original Moana is barely a decade old.
Fuck.
I haven't spoken about anything about the
He-Man's coming out with Jared Leto Skeletor.
He actually looks pretty solid as Skeletor, I'm not gonna lie.
But Skeletor does represent toxic masculinity.
Well, I mean, every man has a skeleton inside of him, so every one of us.
We're so fucked this summer.
I originally had said, but since Matt is gone, maybe we'll just leave it for the next show and when it's like more official. But obviously there was all the stuff with Paramount, which we wanted to just be like, hey, go back to one of our earlier episodes. We said that shit was not over yet, and it might not be Netflix after all. And everyone was like, nah, it's a done deal. But we called that shit. Yeah, I still need to get through Starfleet Academy episode 8. I was writing my script for it the other day because I was in Texas for a week and like got stuck there during the snowstorms and all that stuff. And so I wasn't really able to do all my scripting. So I'm an episode behind, which I don't think matters with Starfleet Academy.
Well, you're a comic book nerd as much as I am. So July we get Spider-Man and John Bernthal and Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. So John Bernthal's Punisher mixing with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. That's going to go over pretty well, right?
I mean, no. But one of the things that people have been saying a lot, and I don't agree with this, there's the whole like Spider-Man doesn't need a what was the term I heard a lot thrown around, that he doesn't need like a safety net. The thing is, Spider-Man actually operates really well in the comics as a character that's teaming up with other characters. He's done it a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of times it was like Daredevil and stuff. Punisher's a little out there.
Yes.
But I don't think necessarily putting other characters in. Wait, what about my my testosterone?
Yeah, what?
What did I lose testosterone for?
I didn't have any.
No, my testosterone.
Yeah.
What did I do? I'm sorry. Oh, because I have to catch up on Starfleet Academy. Is that what it is?
That masterpiece of storytelling.
Oh my god. It's
Yeah.
it's actually one of the hardest scripting jobs I've ever done because it's hard to make jokes out of the joke that it is.
Yeah.
It's actually very difficult. But
Well, like you're saying, like, John Bernthal's Punisher, like Daredevil season 2, and also his solo show, and even Born Again's issues, Bernthal's scenes were fantastic. Putting him into a PG-13 film,
Punisher as a character in general just doesn't operate well in that. I mean, I would
no.
have much preferred to see them maybe partner him up with non-established characters, bring in some newer like street level guys might
Yeah.
have been fun. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'm sure. I mean, let me
Yeah.
just look real quick.
And of course,
Uh,
Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. We've seen how well Disney's treated Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. Yeah, I'm looking so forward to seeing that.
I'm just looking at my stuff here. Unfortunately, most of this is mainstream.
Mm,
Yeah, you know, actually, honestly, I wouldn't mind like if they were going to do something, like a project that I could see Punisher being in with, where he's a sub character in it would be something like Ghost Rider.
yeah.
That would be solid. Um, had they done Moon Knight correctly,
Oh
something
yeah.
like that. There's just so many. There's so many like smaller, or like I wouldn't say smaller, but more violent characters that they could have gone with.
Yeah.
Punisher is pretty much the apex of violence, and well, actually, it would be great if they did it with Ghost Rider too, because then they could always set up for Cosmic Ghost Rider, because everyone wants that.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah, Marvel just.
Oh, hey, what's up, Lance? How you doing?
Yeah. So we have carrying YouTube Helldivers movie. You know what? Helldivers, like, you know what it is.
Thank you, buddy. You're always welcome.
Helldivers is a Starship Troopers ripoff. If they make a film, I'm going to watch it. It's probably going to be terrible, but I'm still going to watch it because I love Helldivers. I play
Yeah.
it twice a week.
I don't think Disney could do Ghost Rider properly. I just don't think it's. I don't. Ghost Rider is also just difficult to do in a movie
Yeah.
because
I don't know why. The first Nick Cage film, I like that film.
that was about as good as it was going to get.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to get any better than that.
Him and Sam Elliott and fucking Eva Mendes is looking fucking sexy. Like it's a bad film I enjoy. I don't know why I like that film.
The second one was pretty hilariously
Jesus Christ,
terrible.
that was
the pissing fire scene.
oh man.
And then he turns the Earth Ripper or whatever the hell they call it thing into a giant motorcycle.
Well, everyone knows it's like Ghost Rider doesn't come out during the daytime usually.
Well,
and the second film is coming out during daytime. Like
can't.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why I was like, watching. When does he come out during the daytime? It's just a new. Forget it.
It's the thing about Ghost Rider is, like I said, I don't think you can get any better than that because Nick Cage was a good actor for that role. First of all, he was a fan of Ghost Rider, so it helped.
Got the fucking tattoo, man.
Yeah, and then, but on top of that, you need someone who can play off the ridiculousness of in the middle of in the night in the presence of demons. My head turns into a flaming skull. Like you need someone who can play off of that.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I think the first Ghost Rider. Honestly, there was a lot of those early Marvel movies. There was a lot of what if they could have done.
Like they were MCU, but it wasn't. Everyone loves fucking the.
Everybody always did those like fan crossover mental things. Like I always said to this day, if Sony and Fox would have paired up and put Spider-Man in an X-Men movie, that probably would have been the just as much money as the MCU was doing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they've been fucking printing money. Like, you remember too? Fuck Punisher. Punisher Warzone's a shitty film, but it's so awesomely bad. It's like it's over the top.
I just want to make sure. So yeah, I think I'm gonna pretty much call it. I actually I would like to get some more of this game in before I read any spoilers. I've already read a couple, but it is what it is. I'm just kind of used to that at this point. So and you're the only one here, so I guess you get to plug your shit exclusively today, and that's where you tell us where you are, what you're doing, where we can find you, what you have coming out.
I'll be streaming Resident Evil 9, the finale.
Okay, there you go.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I'll probably make a review on the new Christian Bale, The Bride, because yes, Christian Bale and Maggie Gyllenhaal and Christ.
I don't even know what movie you're talking about.
The Bride, Christian Bale's Frankenstein.
Oh, that's just to show you. It's funny, my channel has slowly morphed into like reviewing more television shows, so I don't see as many movies as I used to, which I'm fine with. That means I don't have to leave my house. I mean, granted, you don't ever have to leave your house technically if you sail the high seas, but
I pay for my movies.
But I used to like going to the theater, and then it sucked because I would always, be taking notes, and I wouldn't actually be watching the movie half the time. So it was like, as for me, I have to finish up Starfleet Academy, and then I think I'm gonna be moving into, is Daredevil Born Again season 2 come out in
this
the
year?
end of this month? Well, the end of this month.
Let's see. Daredevil season 2. You're right.
It's either the end of this month or the end of next month. I know it's in
March 24th.
Okay, perfect. So that's probably about when I'll be releasing the last part of Starfleet Academy, and then I'll be transitioning directly into Daredevil Born Again season 2, which
we get Jessica Jones and also Foggy's back.
Yeah, that's giving me a lot of hope that it's going to be fantastic that they're reviving him. But yeah, especially considering, in fact, the whole first season was all about getting justice for Foggy. The suffering never ends. Wait, what the hell is this picture? Why is there? Okay. Is there like is that the house from fucking Forrest Gump?
No confirmation isn't.
This we can neither confirm nor deny. But I guess we're gonna call it a day. Obviously, we said we were gonna do this one a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So that just leaves me to thank pretty much the only person left here.
Yeah, Matt, douche.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll thank Matt and kind of Bobby, even though he had some family stuff to do. I was just like, dude, just say fuck them kids, but whatever.
I have no friends. That's what I'm here with you for.
Yeah, you actually kind of popped in at the last minute, and it was like, hey, we hadn't streamed together in a while.
Yeah,
so
some tequila shots, fucker.
Fucking
actually, New Year's, do it. So New Year's only 2 months.
I got about, let's see,
wait till next time.
It's vodka, so it's like it tastes like garbage. But
next time you and me are gonna fucking pick the exact same bottle together and open it on stream.
Yeah, this is honestly normally tequila I could just do straight up and it doesn't make me make a face, but like vodka, just it tastes like rubbing alcohol. Yeah, but whatever. It's cheap. I bought it because I thought the bottle looked cool.
Dude, this shit was $9 for fucking odd.
Yeah, it's something like that. But
Nicolai for $9, like.
But yes, that's it. That's pretty much all I got today. So I just want to thank the chat, and like I said, I'll thank everybody else later. I'll thank Protophile too, even though he didn't make it.
Yeah,
and thank you especially for the super chats. But that's the end. Tits out.